I am Priyanka Kurugund from MTech first semester. Now I am going to present seminar on hypothesis testing for the difference of two proportions. Before going to the topic, here are some basic concepts to be known. What is hypothesis? The simple meaning of hypothesis is assumptions to be proved or disproved. But for the researcher, it is a formal question that intends to resolve. Hypothesis is usually considered as the principal instrument in the research. Its main function is to suggest a new experiments and observations, where the research hypothesis is predictive statement which is capable of being tested by a scientific methods that relates an independent variables to some dependent variables. For example, the automobile A is performing as well as automobile B means the both automobiles A and B are performing at a time and tested and verified. Testing of the hypothesis. It is used to know the probability of the sample by using the sample data. It can also provide evidence for probable of the hypothesis of a given data. By conducting this hypothesis test, we can analyze the population of a random sample. Hypothesis testing for proportions. Here, the testing of population is divided into two mutually exclusive and exhaustive classes, which are based on the attributes. The mutual exclusive classes having that attribute and the exhaustive classes does not have any attribute. The parameter of interest here is a population proportion or a proportion of a population having the attributes. For example, proportion of a female students in a college or a proportion of a defective items manufactured by some manufacturing units in a whole day. Based on the sample, we test the hypothesis. There are three types of hypothesis test: right or upper tail test, left or a lower tail test, or two upper tail test. Hypothesis testing for difference of two proportions can be understood by considering this following example. Here, random sample of 400 men and 600 women were asked whether they would like to have a flyover near their residency. 200 men and 325 women were in favor of proposal. Is the opinion of men and women is same in general on this issue? Here, two population proportions pi1 and pi2 are compared by using a sample proportion p1 and p2, which are obtained from two independent samples drawn from each population, which can be known by conducting a hypothesis test. Static test can be calculated by using this formula, where P1 and P2 are the sample proportions and N1 and N2 are the sample size, which can be tested by using a two upper tail test hypothesis. For this test, the condition is H0, that is pi1 is equals to pi2, against H1, pi1 is not equals to pi2, where H0 and H1 are the sample of a hypothesis, where ZC has n of 0,1 distribution provided both sample size are large enough. In practice, n1 and n2 is greater than 30. Here, P1 is calculated by using number of possible sample upon number of total sample. That is, P1 is equals to 200 by 400 and P2 is equals to 325 by 600. And where pi cap is a population proportion which can be calculated by using that formula. that is 200 plus 325 divided by 400 plus 600. By using these calculations, we get population proportions. Further, this is used to calculate ZC, where for this two-tailed test at 5% level of significance, the critical value using n0,1 distribution are minus 1.96 and plus 1.96. Since the computed value is minus 1.2936, which lies between the expectance region, we cannot reject the null hypothesis. Thus, we can say that the mean men and women are different in their opinion. Thank you.